Hey everybody, I am Paul Baker. I am the CEO for the Chamber of Commerce here in Idaho Falls, and I'm here with Jared Dominick, who's running for City Council. Thank you, Jared, for being here.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. As I kind of do with all of these interviews, I'd love to just know a little bit about you, what makes Jared tick, and why you've decided to run for City Council.
Sure. Yep. We've lived here about 15 years. When we came here, it was much more of a small town than it is now. We've witnessed the growth. We've raised our youngest son here, and we now have grandkids here as well. We have watched the town grow since we've been here, and we're kind of frustrated, like a lot of people, I think, about the level of traffic and all the high density housing going in. And so that kind of got our attention, and then the opportunity came up to run, and Teresa's like, I was asked to do it, and I was like, well, I'll do it too, because we both have strong feelings.
Yeah. So being here for 15 years, tell me what are the things that you really love about living in Idaho Falls?
Well, I really do love the green spaces, the small town atmosphere, the friendliness. The fact that you could come here, and when we first came here, it was reasonably priced, much more so. So young people could start a family, they could raise their family. They just could do it with just regular average incomes, and now it seems like the cost of everything has gone up so much. It's really challenging for young people.
So you talked about the growth and that being a big concern for yourself. So tell me a little about some of the ideas and thoughts you have around how we can manage that growth over the next few years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first I kind of would like to debunk the myth of the rapid pace of the growth a little bit, because over the last 4 years, it's only been a 1.7% average increase in the population. So from 2020 to 24, there's only been 4,500 people that have actually moved into Idaho Falls. So the actual numbers are not that large, but yet over that same time frame, out of 6,000 multi-unit buildings in Idaho Falls, over 43% of them were built from 21 to 24. So we almost doubled the number of apartment buildings in Idaho Falls just over that short time frame.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think partially, there's lots of reasons. I think that the narrative is that there's a lot of growth, but I don't see that the actual amount of people coming here justify the level of construction. One thing I do know is that the tax base that the city gets and the counties get is all based on the assessed value of all the property in town. So by promoting high density and high value property construction, you're increasing the pie, if you will, of the tax dollars available. So whether that's a direct incentive or just a byproduct of the growth, I don't know.
So other than the growth side of it, how do you kind of reconcile? Obviously you've seen some steady growth in some areas. How do you kind of reconcile the fact that people want to move and live here, and the motivation for that is because it is a great place to live, and so if you're thinking about curtailing high density, what are the other options, I guess, that could be put forward, in your mind?
Yeah, I think I'd really like to promote, single family dwellings or townhomes, small, affordable starter homes, bungalow communities, or even looking into, tiny homes or modular prefabricated homes to keep the cost down, so that, contractors, I would encourage local contractors especially to start working at ways that we could develop this population of starter homes that would be affordable for the regular working person. We're certainly building enough subsidized housing, as many of these structures are subsidized, so people with no income have a home, and certainly if you're well endowed, then you can afford to buy a home. But that younger population and young families, that's really difficult. So we need to increase the population of homes that is available to them.
So what about job creation? I guess that kind of correlates. There's a demand for housing, and there's seen some continued growth. What are the other kind of jobs you'd love to see come into Idaho Falls that perhaps you don't have right now? Is that something you've thought about?
We thought about it. I mean, definitely that's the other alternative to affordable housing, is if you can increase the economy and get lots of jobs, get everybody working and get better paying jobs, then that, rises all ships. The rising tide rises all ships. So
Yeah.
everybody will have more disposable income to get into starter homes. So I definitely would encourage growth of business. I think we especially need to support our local businesses first, and do everything we can to facilitate their success. But then bring in, other business as we can to try and bolster the available positions for employment.
Well, this is obviously the first time you've run for city council, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
With that, as I was saying to everyone else I've spoken to, comes a sphere of responsibility as you're representing the people that elect you. So, how do you feel like and manage, I guess, the expectation and weight of that responsibility as you're considering potentially winning and sitting in this council seat?
Yep. Well, I'm very analytical. I'm very open-minded. I think the good ideas can come from anywhere in the community. So I'm definitely open to listening and hearing what everybody has to say. So I would encourage that communication, not just with myself, but other council members, and even setting up, going so far as to set up a panel where there can be an open forum type communication between the citizens of Idaho Falls and the business owners and their representatives that they elect. And I think that is pretty critical to us moving forward successfully, is that open lines of communication.
And so, I guess the other kind of follow-up question to that is, in terms of governing and governance, is that relationship that exists between the city council and the mayor. How does that work for you in your mind, especially now that we're definitely going to have a new mayor?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 3 different options on the table at this moment in time. So I guess when you consider and plug in each of them, how do you feel that relationship could work and dynamic would work between you as a city council member and the mayor's office?
Well, I see my role first and foremost is to represent the people that elected me. So I want to know the pulse of what the citizens actually want, and then I'm going to work with the existing city council members and the mayor, whoever is elected, to try and best enable that plan to happen, and best open that line of communications between them all, and so hear everybody, make a data-driven decision that's going to be best for all of Idaho Falls as a whole, not just any segment or portion of it. I think the one thing that everybody should keep in mind, or that a lot of people are aware of it, but a lot of people that aren't involved in the community that heavily aren't aware of the power that city council actually has. Basically, within state and federal laws, city council can set the direction of the city any way they want with a majority vote. Anything pretty much, and that is a pretty weighty responsibility. So we need to make sure that we're getting a lot of data and feedback and making good decisions for the city.
Great. So as we kind of wrap things up, just tell me a little bit about anything that perhaps you hadn't had the opportunity to share in any of the other forums that you've been on, discussions you've had, to give another little piece into who Jared is and why people should vote for you.
Absolutely. I think it's really important. We have to look at our youth. They are the future of our community. They're the future of the whole world. So we need to promote them, facilitate their success. I want to get back to the small town feel, the family-oriented nature of what Idaho Falls has been and can continue to be. I want to look at building those small interconnected neighborhoods, more traditional neighborhoods. I believe that that's the direction that we really need to move, but while also maintaining the infrastructure and maintaining a good place for businesses to be able to conduct business and try and bring new business in to try and get people employed if they choose to go that route, and hopefully they all do. Well,
as I've said to everyone, I appreciate you for throwing your hat in the ring, and it's a big responsibility. I'm sure everyone 100% understands the weight of that sometimes, especially as we're thinking about the future and, like you said, thinking about our young people. So thank you for being willing to put your name forward and deal with the questions and answers and kind of from folks like myself. And
absolutely.
So with that, thanks, Jared. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And thank you to those who've been watching, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.